Hello, my gorgeous Washaya Wellness Warriors. For those of you who are new, hi, I am Lauren, and I am going to be just sharing with you a few things that I really want to help you with in terms of the Pleasure Pulse series, where I'm talking about the serenity waves of creation and how you can use those to manifest the things that you want, while also honoring that part of you that allows you to actually have tangible goals that you're working towards, so that you're not burning out before you've got into the correct rhythm for your body. We are going to be really talking about bringing in the 3 different voices of your intuition that I spoke about in the last video, and we're kind of going in deeper and really looking at how you can bring all 3 of those into one coherent voice. So I am going to kind of slow down a bit, and I'm going to say, let's get before I started. Begin. I would actually like to direct you to the playlist of all of the Pleasure Pulse videos that I am creating for you. So please feel free to go back periodically and check to see if there are any of the videos that you have missed. And the reason I say this is because they do all tie into one another, and if you watch all of them, you are going to get a deeper appreciation for how to really embody these waves, and understanding how your own unique lifestyle choices can actually impact what you're working towards. And if life changes happen, there are ways that you can kind of like pull back on certain things, or if you need to take a break and come back, the Pleasure Pulse playlist is just going to be there for you. Okay, let's actually get started. Okay, so before we talk about intuition, before we are specifically naming anything that's coming up, I invite you to notice how you're listening right now. Are you listening from your head, from your chest, your stomach? Right now, there's no wrong place for you to be. Just notice where you are. Soften your shoulders. Relax your jaw. And let your breath drop lower and lower than it has been already today. You only need to listen to this in the way that your body listens to music, not analyzing the notes, just letting them move you. Today we are going to be talking more about the 3 intuitive voices that live inside of you. These aren't separate to you. They are just fragments of the you who exists as you are listening to this video. And the version of you that you are stepping into. And I also want to add in that these parts of you were still with you before you watched this video. It just may have been that they were asleep. And this video is simply just waking them up and giving them a beautiful, beautiful, loving permission slip and welcoming ceremony to wake back up and help you with the goals and the passions that you have moving forward. So these voices, when you connect with them, they become one unique system of divine intelligence. So this is the energy that is working on your behalf, whether you are conscious of it or not. And each of these voices speak at different moments through different waves. There is a misunderstanding in terms of intuition that I really want to bring in to this conversation. And that is that most women were taught that intuition is something that you purely hear, like a thought, a sentence, something that you know. And while that's true, it doesn't actually paint the full picture. And you might know that I am an artist, not in the way of using like pencils and painting, that kind of artist. I am an artist when it comes to audio, and you will come to discover this if you go into my channel a little bit deeper. There are many soundscapes, there's some light language activations in there, and just even through the way that I speak. And I like to paint pictures, and this is no different. Intuition is no different. And with the work that I do, I build pictures from the thought all the way to the result, and that helps you embody it. So for those of you who are sort of feeling half connected to your intuition, this is why. It's because you aren't having the whole picture presented to you. So on top of maybe hearing and just allowing the words to come through you, there is also sensation. And this is a very big part of your intuition, because sometimes your intuition doesn't need to use words in order to communicate with you. So these sensations can feel very different, and they might even be a little bit uncomfortable if you aren't aware of what's happening or why it's happening. And this is why you are encouraged in my world to build a better and deeper relationship with your intuition, so you understand how your intuition communicates with you in different situations. And this is not to say that your intuition changes entirely depending on what is going on, but there may be the opportunity for your intuition to actually send you certain communication sensations or certain nudges in a particular way, depending on what is happening around you. And if you haven't been open to working with your intuition to really build that relationship up, it is going to be a lot harder for you to figure out if something is meant for you or if it's not meant for you at all. Your intuition really does help you lean into the thing or the things that are for you before your mind comes on board. So this is why I am very open about having a more positive relationship with your body, especially when it comes to sort of like healing through trauma and getting that safety element back into your body. And it's, in my world, it starts with you. Like, before you bring in your partner into anything, there are many layers that women go through, and there can be a lot of things to focus on. And while healing through trauma and seeking therapy and things like that, they're very helpful, and I can't recommend it enough. That is only a really small piece of the puzzle. And like, after therapy and as you're moving through life, what really helps amplify those results is the self-love, self-appreciation, or even self-recognition. So it can be quite hard to go from not really connecting with your body in a number of ways to being like really positive. No, there are steps to it. So I recommend going to body neutrality for a certain length of time, so that you begin to appreciate the functions of your body and why certain parts of your body exist. And then going from body neutrality to kind of opening up to body positivity, but like going straight from not being consciously aware of your body or not particularly liking certain parts to jumping straight to positivity. That can make it a lot harder to connect with who you are and your strengths and all of that. So this is why I am such a big believer in spirituality and really being able to connect with that part of you that feels into sensation and just awareness of your body. So bringing in the kind of like the mind portion, the magic, and then bringing in the body, because the body is going to help you realize the things that you actually want to call in, the things you want to experience. The body makes it a lot more real, because when we are thinking about the conscious conception of either a business idea, a baby, or a relationship that supports both of those things and lots of other things around it, the body is needed to connect with the 3D, like the physical parts of those goals. So the intuition element is very important, because this is your sort of like your internal system that says, yes, do this. Now that is done, do this. Oh, hang on, let's pause for a moment and bring our body back into the present moment, and then let's see what we can do to support it, to then move on to the next thing. And if you keep doing this and connecting to the body and making sure that your mind is on board, and even if there aren't many answers with what your mind is trying to tell you, that in itself is an answer. So my advice would be, try not to push through with your intuition. Like, if your intuition doesn't want to say anything yet, the lack of answers or lack of response is an answer. So just do something else that is very soothing to you, and like your intuition will speak up and give you the next nudge when the time is right. So just to kind of wrap that little bit up, when we're only listening for the intuitive nudges that come purely from the mind or the head, we actually miss 2/3 of that conversation. And I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail about the voices next. So the 3 voices are the head, and this is the sacred witness of your intuition. Your intuitive voice of the head is the witness, and she sees patterns. She's the one that's connecting the dots. She's the analyzer. She understands timelines, logistics, language, and deeper meaning. She is the one who just shines in her brilliance when it comes to pattern recognition and just analyzing anything that is presented, either something you place in front of the sacred witness or something that is happening and you're not yet aware of it. The sacred witness is already making notes and charts and graphs and all the things. She's got a whole catalogue of information ready to present to you when you feel ready to receive those things. But she was never meant to lead alone. She was never meant to run this whole operation by herself. She needs the body, because when the head is leading without the body, she becomes anxious. She starts to overplan, and the overplanning leads to stress, and then the stress leads to more planning, and then because the previous plan hasn't been actioned yet, this leads to more stress, which leads to more over planning, and there's a loop within a loop within a loop, and that loop and those multiple loops begin to look like spirals if you don't catch them early enough. And this is the really important thing. So like if you are finding that you are in a loop within a loop, and you start to feel or see a pattern that resembles a spiral, this is not here to shame you for the spiral, because I'm somebody who loves planning. I have planners that I've bought and not used, so the intention is there, and this is just to bring awareness to what might be happening with you and how your intuition is working in the background. And this could be why you are feeling slightly stuck, or like you feel as though you're not moving or getting anywhere with anything you're trying to do. So with these loops, she's trying to predict safety instead of feeling it. So there is this illusion of, if I plan for these potential situations, I am safe. So on the surface, it may seem as though everything's good and productivity is happening, but the safety is in the potential physical things, because these scenarios may not actually happen. And while the planning looks as though it's serving a purpose, it does to a point, because what is being ignored if it's only being done from the head voice is the body feels unsafe, and that is the most important thing to address first before you start planning. The head is not the enemy. She is the divine universal translator for your nervous system, your body, and your intuition. Her role is to name what the body already knows. I am going to invite you to notice, is your head trying to get ahead of this current moment? And I now invite you to just soften her grip. She doesn't need to be in charge to be safe. She doesn't need to be in charge to be safe. Okay, so now we are moving into the throat voice, and this is the physical translator. So the throat is where your intuition becomes sound, and this actually is the second element of my signature healing process, Serenity. So I love this. And when I was taking notes, I was like, yes, 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 I love this. So as you are talking, truth wants to move through the throat. This isn't something that you are trying to perform or to prove to anybody. You're not convincing, because again, this is you not standing behind what you believe that you are sharing with the world. And the things that come through the throat voice, and as they're translated from your mind, this isn't for you to explain in an attempt to be liked, or again to prove that you know what you're talking about, because proving who you are for validation outside of yourself, that connects to the energy of lack. And with manifesting and aligning with timeline jumps and really just being in the energy of who you need and want to be in order to receive the things that you are working towards, the proving side of just existing isn't something we want to get into the habit of doing. We're trying to break that idea that you need to always be pushing against the grain of who you actually are and who you're meant to be, because somebody somewhere along the line said, in order for you to get the things that you want, and in order for you to even have a chance of receiving those things, you have to constantly chase and approve. What? You always have to chase and prove who you are because somebody else wants to have the power, quote unquote, to say no to you. And here we are going into corporate power play, and that's for another day. Actually, okay, this has given me an idea. I'm gonna add I'm gonna do one on here about corporate power play. Ooh, okay, so right, okay, now you are actually hearing and experiencing me using the throat voice, kind of connecting their head voice with my throat voice in real time. So that was beautiful. That's embodied action. If I couldn't even explain it that well, yeah. That just dropped it in real time. Okay, right, we're going with that. I don't know what form it's going to take right now, but I'm going to put a pin in it, and we're actually just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going with this masterclass because that actually feels really, really good. So we're not here to explain anything. It is to simply express who you are and how you do things, and also, if you feel like it, why you felt aligned to say the things you wanted to say in the way that you wanted to say them. When the throat is open, you speak things that you didn't know that you knew. Your voice carries a frequency and a vibration, not just static information. They're not just words with no meaning or emotion. The words that you speak not only move you, they move the lineage before you, and you are moving and opening a road for those who come after you. You are history in motion. This is why your voice changes when you're being honest. This is why some words land and others don't. The throat listens in both ways. So the throat listens up to the head and down to your womb space. The throat is the bridge. She is the bridge. Now I'm just inviting you to breathe with me for the next few moments. And if your throat tightens when you speak about certain desires, that's not you being blocked from that desire, it's simply information. Now, I will just kind of like add in here that your throat tightening may be the result of you speaking too soon or speaking in the wrong spaces about that particular desire. And your throat closing up is somatically a suggestion that you may not feel safe somewhere in your body about where you are, and like whether it's online or in person. As you're speaking about the things that you are desiring, if you struggle, there may be a part of your desire that might need tweaking, or you may need to just take some more time to allow it to integrate into your body. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that desire isn't meant for you, because if you are speaking it out loud, somewhere in your body there is a part of you that does want what that desire can bring you. So it may not be that actual desire as you've stated it, but it may be the feeling that that desire brings once you have it, or it might be exactly as you've shared it, but you may just need a bit more time for your body to consent and say, yes, now is the right time to share it, or now is the right time to begin planning. And as we're talking about the different waves, I spoke about it in the last video, like the different waves and how they work, and definitely just like maybe tweaking it slightly and just thinking about where your body is and where your mind is in relation to those waves can really help you pinpoint like, oh, why might that have been happening. So now we go to the third and final voice, and this is the yoni or the womb voice, and this is the origin voice. So the yoni is the first voice. This is the energetic and physical blueprint that existed before language was even a thing, before logic came in and disrupted the status quo, before strategy came in and gave you a bunch of rules to be successful, to be quote unquote feminine, to be quote unquote masculine, and if you fit into one of these boxes, you were to be accepted in a certain way. But don't be too much or not enough, because then you don't really fit into anything. But now we are obviously expanding our awareness with a lot of things in the physical realm, including identities. So this is me talking about this particular voice in terms of energy, and just about how you get to identify this area of your body as you wish. That was a little bit of a mini tangent, but we're keeping that in. Okay. So, before all of that, this voice is where you get to feel sensations. And when you feel these sensations, you can find a lot out about yourself. And this can relate to the things you're attracted to, the things you really, really do not like. And also, when timings of the things that you want are off, the yoni or womb voice will let you know before you can actually explain why that is. She also knows when it's not time yet. This is the voice that most women were taught to distrust. And one of the reasons why, I think, are because the yoni and womb voice by herself is insanely powerful. Insanely powerful. And a lot of people are actually quite afraid of their own bodies, like because of how society has said that we need to be afraid of what our bodies are capable of. This is me bringing you back into your body to remember how powerful you actually are. But here's something that we can't dispute. Creation has always begun here. Babies, ideas, art, new identities. Nothing is conceived just in the head. Everything is conceived in the body. Now we know what these voices are. Let's talk about why these voices fall out of sync. When you are rewarded for being quick, productive, a people pleaser, your head learnt a very important lesson, that in order to be accepted and in order to fit in, you had to do a series of unfortunate events that meant you would override and ignore the signals that were going on in your body. they may have been firing off because at some point you may have been really, really hungry. That was ignored. At some point you may have been incredibly tired. That would have been ignored. Your body at some point would have been stressed out or uncomfortable. And even if they weren't as extreme as feeling a certain way to let you know explicitly that that's what was happening, you were in, it's not just one situation, it's a bunch of them, and they built up over time, and these really small moments added up, and then by the time you actually knew to realize, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, oh my goodness, I am actually quite stressed, because a switch has flicked in your mind, because you remember a small fragment of time where things weren't like this. You then think, oh, something's not right here, this isn't good, and you took on that belief that when your truth made others uncomfortable, and it wasn't you asking for too much, it was just you stating what you wanted to say in the moment because your body was feeling aligned to say the thing as you wanted to say it. I said what I said, and I meant what I meant. End of story. Your throat learnt to suppress itself. And when your desire was misunderstood or it felt unsafe, your yoni or your womb voice learnt to whisper instead of speak. And this was your divine intelligence kind of coming in to protect you. But now, this is the beautiful thing about it. You are no longer living in survival, and these voices are all ready to come back into your body and wake up to help you. So this is where Pleasure Pulse changes everything, because in the different waves that I spoke about, different voices naturally make an appearance and take center stage. So in the stir, the yoni leads, the desire builds up, curiosity awakens, and attraction appears. So with the yes, the throat really leads here. Expression flows, words come easily, and creation wants to move here. And then there is the let go, and the body comes back in and chooses to lead. This is where sensations deepen once again, and the nervous system does a deep exhale. Integration begins here. And in the rest, the head gently reflects. It's not planning here. it comes back around to understand what has already shifted. Nothing is wrong when one voice is louder. The problems only come when one voice is silenced. So now I invite you to bring them in, wake them up, and connect with them. So let's begin inviting them in gently. Place one hand on your head, wherever feels comfortable. And you can then place the other on your throat. And then imagine either one or two extra hands cradling your womb space. And here is where you breathe. As you inhale, feel the body rise. And as you exhale, gently sighing it out, allowing the jaw to melt. I invite you now to bring in the question, which voice has been leading my life lately? Please do not judge whatever answer comes up. Just be aware. Now, ask which voice wants to be heard more. Allow these answers to come in sensations, not necessarily words. The awareness of you pressing play on this video is the start of you integrating. When your head listens to your body, when your throat speaks what your womb already knows, your intuition stops feeling foggy and confusing. It becomes steady, trustworthy, and calm. This is how you make decisions without feeling rushed or like you're being forced into something you don't really want to do. This is how you create without burning out. This is how you manifest without gripping onto every little sign, every movement. And it's not through choosing just one voice, but it's letting them all have their chance to speak, and you'll hear them, and you'll feel them. Intuition isn't something you access. You are intuition. Thank you ever so much for spending time with me today. And until next time, I will see you soon.